Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome back to the 1985 playoffs in season ticket baseball. We still have at least one game left of the American League Championship Series, and that's what brings us tonight to Anaheim Stadium for Game 6 of that series between the Detroit Tigers and the California Angels. The Tigers, of course, lead this series 3-2 after their 4-2 victory in Game 5 yesterday afternoon. Tigers are trying to close out the series. If they do tonight, Game 1 of this series will be on Friday night back at Tiger Stadium, and then the Summer 2025 Project Selection Show will be on Thursday. If the Angels win this game, Game 7 will be on Thursday night, then the Summer 2025 Project Selection Show will be Friday, and Saturday will be Game 1 of the World Series at the AL Champions home stadium. Both the Angels and the Tigers had a better regular season record than the Montreal Expos, who are waiting for the winner of this series, I should say. Not necessarily the winner of this game. But let's jump in, as we're expecting a sellout and an electric crowd here at Anaheim Stadium tonight to watch their Angels try to make this get us back to Game 7 on Thursday night. So, without any further ado, what say we jump in? Starting pitcher for the California Angels tonight is Don Sutton. 2-2 with a 3.69 ERA, 31 2/3 innings pitched, 16 strikeouts, 8 walks, 6 home runs in 85. He is in charge of getting this game back to Anaheim, or back here for Game 7 on Thursday night. Trying to make sure Detroit gets set to host Game 1 of the World Series on Thursday is this lineup. Leading off is Chet Lemon in center field, Alan Trammell at shortstop, Kirk Gibson in right field, Lou Whitaker at second base, Darrell Evans at first base, Johnny Grubb is your designated hitter, Larry Herndon, hold on. Nope, it should actually be Lance Parrish catching, Barbaro Garby at third base, and Larry Herndon in left field. I had the 7 and 9 spots flipped when I set up everything for tonight's game this morning. We are all set to go, so let's go to the top of the first. Leading off for the Tigers is Chet Lemon. 265 average, 18 home runs, 68 RBIs in 85. We are using blue, white, and red dice tonight. Angels are the home team. Tigers win. Game 1 of the World Series is on Friday. Angels win. Game 7 of this series is on Thursday, right back here. Can the Tigers make it to the 1985 World Series where the Expos are waiting? Only the dice know for sure, and as Sutton looks in at Jerry Nerone for the sign, only the dice know what will be happening on Thursday night. So, in order to find out what the dice know, we need to go to the first pitch. So, Sutton, take it away. He will take it away with a 103. That'll turn into a 303. Lemon's going to swing through a curveball for strike 3, out number 1, and we are underway here at Anaheim Stadium. 1 out in the inning, and Alan Trammell is now the batter. 258 average, 13 home runs, 57 RBIs in 85. Sutton looking in at Nerone for the sign. He will set. Here's the windup, and here comes the pitch. That is a 224 against a righty. 224 is going to be a ground ball over to first. Rod Carew will get to that one. He will have no problems with it. Moves it over to, will take it to the bag himself. 2 outs in the inning. Batter now for the Tigers with 2 outs, the ever-dangerous Kirk Gibson. 287 average, 29 home runs, 97 RBIs in 85. Sutton will look in at Nerone for the sign. He will set. Here's the windup, and here comes the pitch. That is a 519, and a 519. Sutton is gonna misplay that one. It'll handcuff him, and Gibson will be safe at first on the E1. Lou Whitaker, now the batter for the Tigers. 279 average, 21 home runs, 73 RBIs in 85. Sutton, not happy with that one, giving up the first error on the night. He will get the sign from Nerone. He will set, and he will pitch. With a 281, that sounds like trouble against the lefty. Uh-oh. Whitaker's into one. That is deep to right field. Whitaker with a power of a 6. Do the Tigers draw first blood right here? Whitaker gets into that one, but he's under it. That'll be into right field, but that'll be a fly ball. Jackson will be able to track that down. He's near the track for it, though. He'll make the catch, and that will retire the side. Nothing across except the error for the Tigers. Score is now Detroit 0, California coming to bat. As Ben Witz is first to join us here at Anaheim Stadium. I was just wondering what game you were going to be stopping by, what game you were going to go to tonight. I saw RJL is doing the wild card game in 1983 between the Tigers and the Rangers. Glad you decided to stop by here for Game 6 of this series as the Tigers are trying to make the 1985 World Series. Starting pitcher for said Detroit Tigers is Walt Terrell. 15-10 with a 3.85 ERA, 229 innings pitched, 130 strikeouts, 95 walks, 9 home runs, and 85. The lineup for the Angels trying to get this series back here Thursday night for Game 7. This is a bit more critical. Ticket to the World Series on the line, indeed. And the Tigers' season could just as easily end in the wild card game. But let's meet the lineup for the Angels trying to get this series back here for Game 7 on Thursday night. Leading off, Bobby Grich at second base, Gary Pettis in center field, Brian Downing in left field, Reggie Jackson is in right field, Rupert Jones is the designated hitter, Rod Carew is at first base, Jerry Nerone's catching, Jack Howell is at third base, and Dick Schofield is the shortstop. I didn't note that in the scorebook this morning when I was doing setup. And that's the lineup trying to get us back here Thursday night for Game 7 of this series. Leading off for the Angels tonight is Bobby Grich. 242 average, 13 home runs, 53 RBIs in 85. To be honest, you're not crazy with a one-game playoff series. If you're good enough to qualify for the postseason, you deserve a real series. Yeah, I guess I do kind of feel that, but I'll have to think about it. Because admittedly, I'm not completely crazy about the wild card game either. It's granted it's more content for the channel, but still. And how do you work that in with the other seeds? Admittedly, I'm very new to the sports replay world myself, so kind of a little bit of brainstorming on that would have to happen. But what say we jump back down to the field? We'll kick that conversation around another day. Terrell will look in at Parrish for the sign. Anaheim Stadium is absolutely electric. Terrell will set, and he will pitch. That is a 372. And a 372 is going to be a ground ball over to third. Darby will grab that one. He'll take his time. Throw it across the diamond. 1 out in the inning. One out, and here's Gary Pettis leading in the batter's box. 257 average, 1 home run, 32 RBIs, and 85. Terrell will get the sign from Parrish. He will set. Here's the windup, and here comes the pitch. That is a 569. That's over to shortstop. That's over to Trammell. And Trammell's going to boot that one. He'll misplay it, and Pettis will be safe at first on the E1. Now, each team with an error here in this Game 6 of the ALCS. Tigers infield going to double play depth. Terrell gives Whitaker the same glare, gives Whitaker a glare. Actually, that's Trammell a glare. Brian Downing, now the batter for the Angels. 263 average, 20 home runs, 85 RBIs in 85. Pettis, not a threat to steal against Terrell. Terrell, great at holding runners on base. Pettis will hold. Terrell will get the sign from Parrish. He will set, and he will pitch. That is a 461 against a righty. 461 is going to be a ground ball over to third. Grabbing that is going to be Garby. He will throw that up to Whitaker at second. That'll get Pettis. Whitaker will try to make the relay over to Evans at first, but it won't be in time. Downing will be safe at first on the 5-4 putout, but there are 2 outs in the inning. Batter now, some bum nobody's ever heard of. Reggie Jackson is now the batter. 252 average, 27 home runs, 85 RBIs in 85. Terrell looking to get out of trouble. Jackson always a threat with that power. Terrell will get the sign from Parrish. He will set, and he will pitch. That is a 600 even. That'll turn into a 610. And Jackson's going to try to do too much with a changeup. Actually, they'll get frozen by the changeup. Strike 3. That will retire the side. Just like the Tigers, nothing across except an error for the Angels. We are scoreless here at Anaheim Stadium after 1. Just going to check to make sure my camera hasn't frozen on me. Playoffs should be limited to top 25. Not the way they're doing it now with just about any team with a 50-50 record making it. So maybe just a top 8 division series. But again, we'll kick that around. I can kick that around a bit later. We've got business to handle tonight. As Sutton finishes up his warm-up tosses, maybe we'll kick that around if we have another pitcher ejection or something, and they need to get warm-up tosses in. Darrell Evans, now the batter for the Tigers. 248 average, 40 home runs, 94 RBIs in 85. Sutton will get the sign from Nerone. He will set. Here's the windup, and here comes the pitch. That is a 527, and a 527 for Nerone is going to be a passed ball, ball 1. We will do it again. 631. And a 631 is going to get popped up on the infield. A lazy fly ball in the infield grass. Schofield will call everybody off for that one. He will make the catch. Out number 1. Johnny Grubb, now the batter for the Tigers. 245 average, 5 home runs, 25 RBIs in 85. Sutton looking in at Nerone for the sign. 1 out here in the top of the second, still no score. Sutton will set, and he will pitch. That is a 562. That's over to shortstop Schofield. And Schofield will get to that one without any trouble. He will take his time, throw it over to first, out number 2. And I will get myself to English lessons on that one. That was pretty terrible. Lance Parrish, now the batter for the Tigers. 273 average, 28 home runs, 98 RBI in 85. Sutton looking in at Nerone for the sign. He will set. Here's the windup, and here comes the pitch. That is a 260 against a righty. 260. Uh-oh. Parrish is into one. That is deep to left field. Parrish with a power of a 9. Does he give the Tigers the lead? Parrish gets a hold of it, but he's just under it. That'll get into left field. Downing will track that one down. He's slowing down for it. He will make the catch, and that will retire the side. 1, 2, 3 go the Tigers in the top of the second. Still no score heading into the bottom of the second. And now that I'm thinking about it, actually, having just the top 4 make the division series would probably, regardless of record, would probably solve the need a 500 record to get into the playoffs, and probably not have to screw around with tiebreakers too much. I'll give that a little bit. I'll give that some thought. That could be an interesting idea. Terrell finishing up his warm-up tosses as Rupert Jones now steps into the batter's box. 231 average, 21 home runs, 67 RBIs, and 85. Jones, of course, the designated hitter tonight. Terrell will get the sign from Parrish. He will set, and he will pitch. That is a 171, and a 171 is going to be a wild pitch. Ball one, we will do it again. This time it's a 128. That'll turn into a 328, and Jones is going to get frozen by his curveball for strike three. That is out number one. Just catches the inside corner. Jones not arguing the pitch. He will go back to the dugout. One out, and Rod Carew, now the batter. 280 average, 2 home runs, 39 RBIs, and 85. Terrell will get the sign from Parrish. He will set. Here's the windup, and here comes the pitch. That is a 251. Against a lefty, a 251 is going to get popped up on the infield. Garby going into foul territory for it. He will have plenty of room to make the catch, and that is out number two. Jerry Nerone is now the batter. 220 average, 5 home runs, 14 RBIs, and 85. Terrell looking in at Parrish for the sign. He will set. Here's the windup, and here comes the pitch. That is a 470 against a righty. 470 is going to be a ground ball over to first. Evans will grab that one. He'll wave off Terrell coming over to cover. Take that to the bag himself, and that will retire the side. 1, 2, 3 go the Angels here in the bottom of the second. Still no score here at Anaheim Stadium after 2. No hits either, and each team has an error tonight. Top of the third, as Sutton finishes up his warm-up tosses for the inning, Barbaro Garby now steps into the batter's box. 257 average, 6 home runs, 29 RBIs, and 85. He will stand in for the Tigers here. Sutton will look in at Nerone for the sign. He will set. Here's the windup, and here comes the pitch. That is a 496, and against a righty, a 496 is going to be a Garby getting frozen by a slider for strike 3, out number 1. Catches just enough of the outside corner to get the call. Garby not arguing it as Sutton was working that corner all at bat, 1 away in the inning. Larry Herndon, now the batter. 244 average, 12 home runs, 37 RBIs, and 85. Scoreless here in the top of the third. Tigers lead the series 3-2. Sutton gets the sign from Nerone. He will set, and he will pitch. That is a 640, and a 640 is going to be a ground ball over to first. Carew grabs that one. He'll wave off Sutton coming over, take it to the bag himself. 2 outs in the inning. Lemon, now the batter. Lemon's 0 for 1 with a strikeout tonight. Sutton looking in at Nerone for the sign once again. Anaheim Stadium is loud. Sutton will set, and he will pitch. That is a 437 against a righty. 437. Lemon's going to get into one. That'll get into center field. Lemon will hold at second with a double. He's not going to try to extend that into a triple. Not with Pettis having a pretty good arm out in center field. Trammell, now the batter with 2 outs. Trammell tonight is 0 for 1. That is our first hit for either team in this game. Sutton trying to get out of the inning. He will get the sign from Nerone. He will set, and he will pitch. That is a 137, and that'll be a fly ball into right field. Jackson going to his right for that one, actually. He will make the catch, and that will retire the side. Nothing across except the hit for the Tigers. We are still scoreless here at Anaheim Stadium as we get set for the bottom of the third. Okay. Leading off the bottom of the third for the Angels as Terrell finishes up his warm-up tosses is Jack Howell. 197 average, 5 home runs, 18 RBIs, and 85. Terrell looking in at Parrish for the sign. He will set. Here's the windup, and here comes the pitch. That is a 268 against a lefty. 268 is going to be a fly ball into left field. Back for that one is going to be Herndon. He'll have to take a few steps back, but he'll make the catch without any trouble. 1 out in the inning. Dick Schofield, now the batter. 219 average, 8 home runs, 41 RBIs, and 85. Terrell looking in at Parrish for the sign. He will set. Here's the windup, the kick, and here comes the pitch. That is a 236 against a righty, and that'll be a ground ball over to second. Whitaker will pick that one up without any trouble. Throw that over to Evans. 2 outs in the inning. Batter now is Gritch. Gritch grounded out his first time up. Angels looking for their first hit tonight. Terrell will get the sign from Parrish. He will set. Here's the windup, and here comes the pitch. That is a 320. And Gritch is going to get frozen by the high heat for strike 3. That will retire the side. 1, 2, 3 go the Angels here in the bottom of the third. Still no score at Anaheim Stadium after 3. Both teams playing very tentatively tonight. Neither one wants to make the mistake. The Angels that would end their season, the Tigers that would bring us back here Thursday night for Game 7. Sutton finishing up his warm-up tosses as a very dangerous Kirk Gibson. Gibson now steps into the batter's box. Gibson reached on an error back in the first. Sutton will get the sign from Nerone. Fans at Anaheim Stadium are loud. Sutton will set, and he will pitch. That is a 672, and a 672 is going to be a wild pitch. Ball 1, we will do it again. This time it's a 382, and a 382 is going to be a base hit for Gibson on the infield. He will have a single. That's a slow roller. Gibson will beat it out for a single. Infield will go to double play depth, and here's Whitaker. Whitaker tonight is 0 for 1. Nothing crazy here. Whitaker is going to swing away. Sutton will get the sign from Nerone. Gibson edges off at first, but he's not a threat to steal. Sutton will set, and he will pitch. That is a 436 against a righty, and that'll be a ground ball over to second. Grabbing that is going to be Gritch. He will throw that to Schofield to get Gibson. Schofield will try to make the pivot, but that won't be in time. Whitaker will reach on the fielder's choice, but there is 1 out in the inning. Evans, now the batter. Evans tonight is 0 for 1. Whitaker, also not much of a threat to steal. He will hold. Sutton will get the sign from Nerone. He will set. Here's the kick, and here comes the pitch. That is a 614. And a 614. Evans is going to get frozen by a changeup for strike 3. That is out number 2. Grubb, now the batter. Grubb tonight is 0 for 1. Whitaker edging off of first. Sutton will get the sign from Nerone. He will set. Here's the kick, and here comes the pitch. That is a 3-0-5. And Grubb's going to swing through a changeup for strike 3, inning over. Nothing across except the leadoff single for the Tigers. We are still scoreless here at Anaheim Stadium as we get set for the bottom of the 4th. So far, it is looking like another pitcher's duel tonight. In fact, between the two teams, there have only been a total of, I want to say only like 4 base runners, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. Only 4 base runners between the teams, 3 of them for the Tigers. All 3 have been left on. Terrell finishes up his warm-up tosses as Pettis, now the batter. Pettis was that lone base runner. He reached on an error back in the 1st. Terrell will get the sign from Parrish. He will set, and he will pitch. That is a 437. And a 437 against a righty. Pettis is going to swing through a slider for strike 3. That is out number 1. That is the 4th strikeout by Terrell tonight. 1 out in the inning. But of course, that's just a prelude to the dangerous heart of the Angels' order. Here's Downing. Downing tonight is 0 for 1. They've got a lot of power, but they've been pretty tame in this series. Terrell will get the sign from Parrish. Fans at Anaheim Stadium are loud. Terrell will set, and he will pitch. 336. And a 336 is going to be an infield single for Downing. He will leg that one out. And he'll be the first base runner for it'll be just the second base runner for the Angels tonight, but their first hit. Infield will go to double play depth. Jackson, now the batter. Jackson is 0 for 1 tonight. Jackson's got great power. He's going to swing away. Terrell will get the sign from Parrish. He will set, and he will pitch. That is a 5-15. That's right back to Terrell, and that'll be a ground ball right to him. He will take his time. Downing got a good jump. He's almost to second. So Terrell will turn and take the out at first. 2 outs in the inning. Help if I get the right fielder there. Jones, now the batter. Jones is 0 for 1 tonight. Downing waits at second with the first run of the game. Terrell will get the sign from Parrish. He will set. Here's the kick, and here comes the pitch. That is a 137, and a 137 is going to be a fly ball into left field. Back for that one is going to be Herndon. He's back near the track, but he will make the catch, and that will retire the side. Nothing across except the hit for the Angels. We are still scoreless here at Anaheim Stadium and have a pitcher's duel so far after 4. Tigers win. The Summer 2025 Project Selection Show is Thursday. Game 1 of the World Series is Friday. Angels win. Game 7 is Thursday. Game 7 of this series is Thursday. And then everything else moves back by a day. Sutton finishing up his warm-up tosses as Parrish steps into the batter's box. Parrish is 0 for 1. He flew out to left his first time up. Sutton looking in at Nerone for the sign. He will set. Here's the windup. And here comes the pitch. That is a 462 against a righty. A 462 is going to be a base hit for Parrish. He will get on with a single. Angels will go to double play depth. Garby, now the batter. Garby's 0 for 1 tonight. Sutton looking in at Nerone for the sign. He will set. Here's the kick, and here comes the pitch. That is a 279 against a righty 279. Uh-oh, Garby's into one. That's deep to left field. Garby with a power of a 5. Does he give the Tigers the lead? Garby's into it, but he's also under it. That'll get into left field. Downing will come in for that one. He will make the catch on the run. That is out number 1. Stadium size. Phew. Here's Herndon. Herndon's 0 for 1 tonight. Parrish edging off of first. He will not go anywhere. Sutton will get the sign from Nerone. He will set. Here's the kick, and here comes the pitch. That is a 391, and a 391 is going to get popped up on the infield. Carew going into foul territory for that one. He will make that catch. 2 outs in the inning. Lemon, now the batter. Lemon is 1 for 2 with a double tonight. Parrish edging off of first. Sutton will get the sign from Nerone. He will set, and he will pitch. That is a 651, and a 651 is going to be grounded over to third. Grabbing that for the Angels is going to be Howell. He will take his time, throw that over to Gritch at second. That'll get Parrish, and more importantly, that will retire the side. After the leadoff single by Parrish, the Tigers can't get him any further. We are still scoreless here at Anaheim Stadium as we head for the bottom of the 5th. Somebody's got to break through in this one. Terrell finishes up his warm-up tosses as Carew steps into the batter's box. Carew is 0 for 1 tonight. Things are moving pretty quickly tonight. Terrell will get the sign from Parrish. He will set. Here's the kick, and here comes the pitch. That is a 153, and a 153 is going to be a leadoff walk for Carew, as the fans will mildly cheer at Carew getting on with a leadoff walk. Tigers will go to double play depth as Nerone steps into the batter's box. Nerone is 0 for 1 tonight. Carew, hardly a threat to steal, he will hold. Nerone will wait for the pitch from Terrell. Terrell gets the sign from Parrish. He will set, and here comes the pitch. That is a 563. That'll be over to Trammell, and a 563 is going to be a ground ball on the first base side. Carew with a good lead. He will get to second, so Trammell will take the sure out at first for the first out of the inning. Carew will go to second. One out. Batter now is Howell. Howell flew out his first time up. Terrell trying to keep this game right where it is. He will get the sign from Parrish. He will set, and he will pitch. That is a 154, and a 154 is going to be another walk. Howell will trot to first as Terrell loses control of a slider. Infield will go back to double play for the Tigers. Batter now is Schofield. Schofield tonight is 0 for 1. Parrish will go out and talk to Terrell on the mound. Terrell will try to calm down here, looking at Schofield. Terrell will get the sign from Parrish. He will set, and he will pitch. That is a 429. 429 against a righty is going to be a fly ball into right field. Gibson getting under that one. He will make the catch for out number 2. Carew breaks for third on the catch. Here comes the throw from Gibson, and Carew is going to slide under the tag. He will be safe at third, tagging up. Sacrifice fly sends Carew to third but there are 2 outs in the inning. Batter now is Gritch. Gritch tonight is 0 for 2. Terrell would love to get out of this inning with no damage done. He will get the sign from Parrish. Fans at Anaheim Stadium are loud. Terrell will set, and he will pitch. 365. And a 365 is going to be a ground ball over to third. Picking that one up is going to be Garby. He will take his time, throw that over to first, and that will retire the side. That was a pretty scary inning for the Tigers, as 2 walks almost leads to a run, but the Angels get Bubkiss out of it. We are still tied at goose eggs here at Anaheim Stadium after 5. Stadium groans. Ugh. Both pitchers are pitching very well tonight, though. Top of the 6th coming up, and we're back toward the top of the Tigers' order. Here's Trammell. Trammell tonight is 0 for 2. Just going to adjust the Angels lineup over here. Make sure everything is not too scattered. Tapping back into Digital Diamond because that's a helpful place to be. Trammell will wait for the pitch. Sutton will get the sign from Nerone. He will set, and he will pitch. That is a 3-13. And Trammell's going to swing through a slider for strike 3. That is out number 1. One out. Batter now is Gibson. Gibson tonight is 1 for 1 with a single, and he reached on an error. We're going to get some activity in the Angels bullpen as starting to get loose for California. Lefties and righties. The Angels are going to get Jim Slayton warming up in the bullpen. Sutton hoping to keep Gibson off the base paths tonight. Sutton will get the sign from Parrish. He will set. Here's the kick, and here comes the pitch. That is a 650. And a 650 will be grounded over to third. Howell will get to that one. He will throw that across the diamond. 2 outs in the inning. Whitaker, now the batter. Whitaker is 0 for 2 tonight. Sutton gets the sign from Nerone. Fans at Anaheim Stadium are loud. Sutton will set, and he will pitch. That is a 194. And a 194 is going to be grounded over to first. Carew will grab that one. He'll wave off Sutton coming over to cover the bag. Take that over himself. Side retired. 1, 2, 3 go the Tigers here in the top of the 6th. No score as we get set for the bottom of the 6th. Terrell will finish up his warm-up tosses as Pettis will step into the batter's box. Pettis is 0 for 1. He reached on an error. We're also going to get some activity in the Tigers bullpen as getting loose for the Tigers. Let's see. Righty, lefty, lefty. The Tigers want to eat up some innings as well. So they're going to get Randy O'Neal warming up in the bullpen. And we will tab back into Digital Diamond, where Terrell will take center stage for his at-bat with Pettis. Terrell will get the sign from Parrish. He will set. Here's the windup, and here comes the pitch. That is a 659. That'll turn into a 669 and be a ground ball right back to Terrell. He will throw that over to Evans for the out, 1 away. One out in the inning, and the batter now is Downing. Downing tonight is 1 for 2 with an infield single. Terrell looking in at Parrish for the sign. He knows the Tigers make the World Series with a win tonight. Terrell will get the sign from Parrish. He will set, and he will pitch. That is a 359, and that'll be popped up on the infield. Going into foul territory once again is Evans for that one. He's near the dugout, but he'll have enough room to make the catch. 2 away in the inning. Batter now is Jackson. Jackson's 0 for 2 tonight. Terrell looking in at Parrish for the sign. Fans are loud at Anaheim Stadium. Terrell will set, and he will pitch. That is a 152. And a 152 is going to be a 2-out walk for Jackson. That'll also be the first point of fatigue against Terrell. I'll get the spin down for the fatigue. Just like that. Batter now is Jones. Jones tonight is 0 for 2. We kind of think he might be due. Terrell will get the sign from Parrish. Fans at Anaheim Stadium are loud. Terrell will set, and he will pitch. A 277 against the lefty. 277 will be a 537. That'll be over to Evans. And that's going to be a base hit into right field. Everybody moves up. And that'll be the second point of fatigue against Terrell. And suddenly the Angels have something going on with 2 outs in the inning. O'Neill continuing to warm up in the bullpen. Batter now is Carew. Carew tonight is 0 for 1 with a walk. Tigers management telling Terrell, get out of the inning. Terrell will get the sign from Parrish. Fans at Anaheim Stadium are loud. Terrell will set, and he will pitch. That is a 330. And a 330 is going to be a base hit on the infield, and all of a sudden, the bases are now full of halos. That is also the third point of fatigue against Terrell. Could the Angels be on the verge of breaking through here in the bottom of the 6th? Third point of fatigue. Batter now is Nerone. Nerone tonight is 0 for 2. Ben has got to be shaking in his boots right now as Philip Anderson now joins us here at Tiger Stadium. And yes, indeed, Philip, the score last night did end up being 4-2 Tigers. That's how we got to a 3-2 series lead for Detroit. But all of a sudden, you're just in time to see California with the bases loaded. Terrell trying to get out of the inning. Terrell will get the sign from Parrish. Fans here at Anaheim Stadium are going nuts. Terrell will set. Here's the kick. And here comes the pitch. That is a 389. And a 389 is going to be a base hit for Nerone. The Angels will score first. Jackson will score. Jones will score. Carew to second. Nerone to first. 2-0 Angels. Stadium cheers. Yay! Ben Witz barfs. Blah. Batter now is Howell. Howell tonight is 0 for 1 with a walk. That is going to be it for Terrell. He is going to come out of the game. The Tigers are going to go to the bullpen. I'm in the process of pulling Terrell now. The management was trying to tell him to get out of the inning. 2 outs with the bases loaded. I figured he might be able to pull it off, but clearly not up to the task. Coming in to pitch for the Tigers is going to be Randy O'Neill. 5-5 with a 3.24 ERA, 94 and a third innings pitched, 52 strikeouts, 36 walks, 8 home runs, and 85. We can't completely shut the book on Terrell yet because Carew and Nerone are Terrell's runners. The Angels want more after getting the first 2 runs of the game. O'Neill will get the sign from Parrish. Fans at Anaheim Stadium are going nuts. O'Neill will set, and he will pitch. That is a 478. And a 478 against a righty is going to be a fly ball into center field. Lemon going back for that one. He will make the catch, and that will retire the side, but the Angels strike first. 2 runs on 3 hits and a walk. California now has the first 2 runs of the game. They lead 2-0 after 6. Stadium cheers. Yay! Well, the threat is over now, Ben, but the Angels do get the first runs of the game. Leading off the top of the 7th for the Tigers, as Sutton finishes up his warm-up tosses, is Evans. Evans tonight is 0 for 2. Sutton will continue to pitch the 7th. Slayton continues to throw. Sutton will get the sign from Nerone. He will set. Here's the windup, and here comes the pitch. That is a 525. That's over to Nerone, 525. That'll be a walk for Evans. He will trot to first with a free pass. Infield will go to double play depth. Batter now is Grubb. Grubb tonight is 0 for 2, but that's going to be it for Sutton. The Angels don't want to take any chances tonight. Not with their season on the line. Coming in to pitch for the Angels is going to be Jim Slayton, 6-10 with a 4.37 ERA, 148 in the 3rd innings pitched, 60 strikeouts, 63 walks, 22 home runs, and 85. His job is to stop this Tigers rally before it starts. Basically, have it die stillborn. Slayton will get the sign from Nerone. He will set, and he will pitch. 181 does not sound like stopping at stillborn. That'll be a bloop single for Grubb. He will get on with a single just out of the infield. Of course he will. And now the Tigers have something going on with nobody out. Batter now is Parrish. Parrish tonight is 1 for 2 with a single. Nerone goes out to talk to Slayton on the mound. Says, hey, what are you doing? We want to come back here Thursday night for Game 7. We don't want to come back here to clean out our lockers yet. Slayton will get the sign from Nerone. He will set. Here's the kick. And here comes the pitch. That is a 628. And a 628 is going to get popped up on the infield to shortstop. Schofield will call everybody off on the grass. The infield fly rule will also be called. 1 out in the inning. Runners stay put. Garby, now the batter. Garby's 0 for 2 tonight. Slayton hoping to get the Angels out of this inning with a 2-0 lead. Slayton will get the sign from Nerone. Anaheim Stadium is loud. Slayton will set, and he will pitch. That is a 322. And Garby gets frozen by the high heat for strike 3, out number 2. Garby complains to the umpire, hey, that pitch was high. The umpire says, no, you're high. You're also out. Go sit. Herndon, now the batter with 2 outs. Herndon is 0 for 2 tonight. 2-0 Angels, top of the 7th, 2 outs. Slayton will get the sign from Nerone. Fans at Anaheim Stadium are going crazy. Slayton will set, and he will pitch. That is a 497 and a 497. Herndon's going to swing through a slider for strike 3. That will retire the side. To a walk and a hit, but the Tigers can't get anything out of it. Angels holding on to a 2-0 lead as we head into the 7th inning stretch. Sing Take Me Out to the Ball Game. I will take a small break. as ID Jester now joins us here at Anaheim Stadium. You got my package along with 2 other big boxes and a big box from GMT Games. Nice. If you wait for about like 15-20 minutes after this game's over and you're planning to unbox that tonight, I will stop by and give that a watch. I just got the email that it was delivered. Nice. We are going to find out what these are for on the Summer 2025 Project Selection Show later this week. Whether it's Thursday or Friday is going to depend on the result of this game. If the Tigers can come back and win this one, the Summer 2025 Project Selection Show will be on Friday. If hold on. If the Tigers come back and win, the selection show will be Thursday. Since it looks like the Angels are going to hold, well, if the Angels hold on, Game 7 is Thursday, and the Project Selection Show is on Friday. As for, well, I'm not going to announce any starting pitchers yet, because there's still plenty of baseball left to be played. And you thought I was going to wait and then until I got your package and then send my stuff. I figured I'd just get my package moving. That way the book was closed up. It'll go out tomorrow. You have it boxed up and ready to go. Okay, thanks for the heads up on that. So I'll look for that probably toward the end of the week, I'm thinking. So that'll be amusing for then. O'Neill finishes up his warm-up tosses as Schofield now steps into the batter's box for the Angels. Schofield is 0 for 2 tonight. O'Neill will get the sign from Parrish. Anaheim Stadium has been loud all night. O'Neill will set, and he will pitch. That is a 368, and a 368 is going to get popped up on the infield. Evans will go back for that one, just out of the infield, but he will make the catch, and that is out number 1. Gritch now the batter. Gritch is 0 for 3 tonight. Angels lead 2-0 in the game. Tigers lead the series 3-2. Angels hold on. Game 7 is Thursday. Tigers come back. Game 1 of the World Series is Friday. O'Neill gets the sign from Parrish. He will set, and he will pitch. That is a 508. That'll give us a rare play. And a 332 says... 332, batter strikes out looking and is ejected from the game. So Gritch is going to get tossed. So 2 outs, Gritch gets tossed, and we need a new second baseman. And fortunately, there is somebody who can come in and take over at second base. Rob Wilfong will be the new second baseman for the Angels. Two outs, and the batter now is Pettis. Pettis tonight is 0 for 2, but he reached on an error. O'Neill looking in at Parrish for the sign. He will set, and he will pitch. That is a 307, and Pettis is going to swing through the high heat for strike 3, inning over. 1, 2, 3 go the Angels here in the bottom of the 7th, along with their starting second baseman being ejected. California, though, holding on to a 2-0 lead after 7. All right, so good to know, Jester. You can wait until about 15 minutes until after I'm done. All right, thanks for the heads up there. And Ben saying something about the thumbs up, probably. Top of the 8th coming up as Slayton finishes up his warm-up tosses. Let me see when he came in. Okay, so he's not near his fatigue inning yet. Leading off the top of the 8th for the Tigers is Lemon. Lemon tonight is 1 for 3. He's got a single. And the Tigers need to get something going here, or we're going to be right back here on Thursday night for Game 7. Slayton will get the sign from Nerone. Fans at Anaheim Stadium are loud. Slayton will set, and he will pitch. That is a 262 against the righty. 262, uh-oh. Lemon's into one. That's deep to left field. Lemon with a power of a 7. Does he cut this Angels lead in half? Lemon gets into it, but he's just under it enough that Downing will be able to track it down at the wall. He will make that catch out number 1. Stadium size. Phew. Trammell, now the batter with 1 out. Trammell is 0 for 3. Slayton looking in at Nerone for the sign. He will set. Here's the kick, and here comes the pitch. A 232 against a righty. 232 is going to be a ground ball over to third. Howell will grab that one. He'll throw it across the diamond. 2 outs in the inning. Gibson, now the batter. Gibson is 1 for 2 with a single, and he reached on an error. Slayton, hoping to get out of the inning with no problems. Nerone will get the sign. No, Nerone will give him the sign. Slayton will set, he will kick, and he will pitch. That is a 569. That's over to Schofield, and Schofield's going to boot that one once again. Gibson will be safe at second, or at first on the E6. And I almost forgot, I need to actually sub in my new shortstop. So Slayton's going to go give Schofield a piece of his mind while I take care of that for the Angels. Let's see, bench. Wolfong is going at the 1 spot. There we go. Okay. Now that we've got that sorted out, Whitaker, now the batter with 2 outs in the top of the 8th. Whitaker tonight is 0 for 3. Slayton looking in at Nerone for the sign. He will set. Here's the kick, and here comes the pitch. That is a 177, and a 177 is going to be a bloop single for Whitaker. That will continue the inning. Here come the Tigers with 2 outs. Was that a valid? Okay, looks like that was a valid command. Okay. Evans, now the batter with 2 outs. Evans tonight is 0 for 2 with a walk. Slayton will get the sign from Nerone. Fans at Anaheim Stadium are suddenly nervous. Slayton will set, and he will pitch. That is a 591. That's into right field. Going back for that is going to be Jackson, and that'll be a fly ball right at him. Jackson will take his time, look that carefully into his glove. That will retire the side. A hit and an error, but the Tigers are still held off the board. Angels holding on to a 2-0 lead heading into the bottom of the 8th. Stadium size. Phew. Right. Okay. Okay. Camera still looks good. O'Neill now facing the heart of the Angels' order in the bottom of the 8th. Here's Downing. Downing is 1 for 3 with a single. California would love to get some insurance, but they are not going to screw around tonight. They're going to get their closer, Donnie Moore, warming up. The Angels are 3 outs away from Game 7 on Thursday night. They do not want funny business tonight, I can assure you of that. O'Neill will get the sign from Parrish. He will set. Here's the windup, and here comes the pitch. That is a 522. And Parrish, that'll be a called strike 3 on Downing as Parrish manages to frame the changeup for strike 3. Out number 1. One out, and the batter now is Jackson. Jackson is 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. Angels trying to get some insurance before they turn it over to Moore for the top of the 9th. O'Neill will get the sign from Parrish. Fans at Anaheim Stadium have been loud all night. O'Neill will set, and he will pitch. That is a 3-13, and Jackson's going to swing through a changeup for strike 3, out number 2. Jackson trying to do way too much with that changeup, and he'll instead get nothing but air for 2 outs in the inning. Jones, now the batter. Jones tonight is 1 for 3. He's got a single. O'Neill looking in at Parrish for the sign. He will set. Here's the windup, and here comes the pitch. That is a 686. That'll turn into a 696, and that'll be a 2-out walk for Jones. That'll also be the first point of fatigue on O'Neill, which I will let Digital Diamond get caught up with me on that. And the batter now is Carew. Carew tonight is 1 for 2 with a single and a walk. O'Neill looking in at Parrish for the sign. Angels with a 2-0 lead here in the bottom of the 8th. O'Neill will set, and he will pitch. That is a 625. That'll turn into a 645 and be a ground ball over to second. Whitaker will get that one. He'll throw that over to Trammell to get Jones, and that will retire the side. A walk, but the Angels aren't able to do anything with it. Angels still have a 2-0 lead here after 8. But we have the age-old question to answer of, will we see some 9th inning magic? I know Ben is hoping that the Tigers suddenly have a wizard in the lineup tonight. Just checking on the thumb. Okay, or on the hand. Everything looks good here. Hopefully you guys are enjoying a little bit of Monday Night Baseball. Slayton is going to come out of the game. Coming in to pitch for the Angels. The Angels don't want any funny business tonight. Coming in to pitch is going to be the closer, Donnie Moore. 8-8 with 31 saves, a 1.92 ERA, 103 innings pitched, 72 strikeouts, 21 walks, 9 home runs in 85. His job, prevent a Tigers rally and get this series back here for Game 7 on Thursday night. Leading off for the Tigers in the top of the 9th is Grubb. Grubb tonight is 1 for 3 with a single. Moore looking in at Nerone for the sign. He will set. Here's the windup, and here comes the pitch. That is a 364, and a 364 is going to be a fly ball into left field. Downing gets under that one. He will make the catch. 1 out in the inning. Parrish, now the batter. Parrish tonight is 1 for 3 with a single. Moore trying to stop this game right here. He will get the sign from Nerone. He will set. Here's the windup, and here comes the pitch. That is a 670. A 670 is going to be grounded right back to Moore. He will take that, throw that over to Carew at first. 2 outs in the inning. And the last chance for the Tigers comes down to Barbaro Garby. Garby tonight is 0 for 3. Moore gets this out. Game 7 is on Thursday. Garby gets on. Herndon will come to the plate. Fans at Anaheim Stadium are going crazy. Moore will get the sign from Nerone. He will set. Here's the kick. And here comes the pitch. That is a 572. And that'll be a fly ball into left field. Downing coming in for that one. He'll put out his glove, blop, and the ball falls into it. That's your game. The California Angels survive. The California Angels defeat the Detroit Tigers by a final score of 2-0. Stadium cheers. Yay! Final line score coming up. Fielding-wise, it wasn't pretty for the Angels, but they will take it. For the Angels, 2 runs on 4 hits and 2 errors. For the Tigers, no runs on 5 hits and 1 error. Winning pitcher tonight is going to be Don Sutton. He will get the win. Walt Terrell will take the loss, and Donnie Moore will get the save. Jim Slayton will get a hold. And that will do it for Game 6 of this American League Championship Series. And actually, Jester, you're wrong on when Game 6 and when Game 7 is coming. Game 7 is actually not going to be until Thursday night. But this series is tied at 3 games apiece. Game 7 will be on Thursday night. Now that I'm down to at most 8 games left in the replay, I no longer need Tuesday Night Baseball because I was using Tuesday Night Baseball to help me speed through the LDS round and the first part of the LCS round. I was always planning on junking Tuesday Night Baseball once I got to a point that I didn't need it. And that point came when the Expos won the National League pennant. So, in that ramble, that will do it for Game 6 of the 1985 ALCS. Tomorrow, as I mentioned, tomorrow night I'm going to probably take the night off. I could use a rest night. Wednesday we'll be playing Star Wars Force and Destiny. As for Thursday night, we will have our first ever Game 7 on the channel, as this series will be bringing us right back to Anaheim Stadium, and we'll have the Aces up again. It will be Jack Morris up for the Tigers, and Mike Witt for the Angels. Friday then will be the Summer 2025 Project Selection Show. Saturday, Mystical Munchies will conclude out of the Dungeons and Dragons Flavors of the Multiverse cookbook as we make the drink, Erlenmeyer's Dragonfire Punch. And yes, indeed, the Expos are looking on. They will come back on center stage for Game 1 of the World Series. That will be Saturday. We won't know where it'll be or who will be starting until Thursday night, though. Sunday next week, we're going to be playing game number 6 on my War Room 10-game challenge list as we play Twilight 2000 from Free League Publishing. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care, everyone. The California Angels get 2 runs in the 6th inning, and that proves to be enough behind their bullpen to get this game, to get a 2-0 victory in this game, and tie the series at 3 games apiece. Game 7 is right back here in Anaheim Stadium on Thursday night. Take care, and I will see you guys in the future.